Okay, so according to USA Today, Nate Davis, the Lions will finish with an 11-6 record, which is
Oh my God, I seen that.
which is one win shy of what they had in 2023. He said we actually predicted Detroit would win 11 games, but we also had them win in division. However, Davis doesn't see things shaking out like that, as he has the Green Bay Packers going and winning 13 games to finish in first place. Here's what he said about the Lions. He said, Detroit Lions, like the Pack, their Lombardi bid last season came short in a playoff loss at San Francisco. However, outside of expectations will match what Dan Campbell has determined internally from his team the past 4 years. The rest of the division, the Lions just won for the first time, is also fast and proven. A pathway to the first Super Bowl berth in franchise history likely requires a strong start. No shit, Sherlock. As the Lions play just 2 home games over an 8-week period from October to November, but it could happen if a young core continues to blossom. Wide receiver James Williams needs to step up and reaps results from an upgraded pass defense. He said this about the Packers. He says, "What a dazzling statement Jordan Love made in his first year as in a post-Rodgers starter, driving what was the league's youngest roster in 2023 to the verge of an NFC championship game appearance, which they didn't do. So just cut the shit, Nate. This talent teaming nucleus should continue to ascend, especially if it enjoys the expected boost from their new set of rookies and free agent additions like running back Josh Jacobs, who is one of the worst yards per carry last year, yards after contact. Xavier McKinney, who's a good safety. But the real delta here could be occur with the defensive coordinator Jeff Hatley, who is shifting the scheme and shifting the fortunes of a bunch that's underachieved despite being armed with 7 first-round picks. Fresh rings in Titletown could be. This guy literally predicted the Jets and the Packers to be in the Super Bowl. That's what he predicted. And look, I love, like, I'm not going to sit here and act like it's like, I just love how he gives credit to what the Packers did in free agency, but he doesn't give credit to what the Lions did in free agency. Like, do you understand that? Like that's just it's a bad look for a journalist who is making predictions. Like, did you actually do the homework and see that they added DJ Reader, they added Carlton Davis, they added Amik Robertson, they added Kevin Zeitler? Like, this is what this guy is missing. And this guy, Nate Davis, I really don't even think he did the homework, because if he did the homework, he would know that, like, the Lions are getting one of the best pass blocking guards in the league. They're getting one of the top defensive tackles in the league when he's healthy, and DJ Reader, paired with Lee McNeil. You get Carlton Davis, who is better in man coverage. He's going to be playing in that kind of thing. And I just love he mentions Josh Jacobs, and Josh Jacobs' yards after contact was the worst in the NFL next to DeAndre Swift. So am I really going to be concerned? Am I really going to be like, oh, this guy, Josh Jacobs, he's going to go back to what he was? No, I judge a running back on yards after contact, because I think it's so crucial for a running back to get yards after contact. I would be more scared if the Packers still had Aaron Jones, who was one of the best yards after contact guys, who's in Minnesota. But instead, they went with Josh Jacobs, who has shown he didn't get good yards after contact. I know he played with Vegas, but Vegas wasn't like this horrible run blocking team. It's a total joke. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I will play devil's advocate a bit to say it's not unrealistic for the Packers to win 10 games or 11 games, but I don't think they win 13, and they certainly don't win more than the Lions. And that's me really trying to be unbiased. I mean, obviously, it's going to sound, you're going to say, yeah, right, you're doing a Lions podcast, you're a Lions fan, but seriously, top to bottom, like, Jordan Love is a good up and coming quarterback. He did a lot with a little. I will give him that. And I will give them their kudos to say they could win 10 games. They could. But to say that top to bottom, that Packers roster is anywhere near the Lions roster is an absolute joke.
Well, I do like the roster. I
Yeah,
do like the
but if
roster.
you
Like,
compare it to the Lions roster, especially offense alone, I mean, we pretty much blow them out of the water in most
no,
positions.
I totally understand. Defensively, I think they have some talent back there. But once again, I think it's kind of like you're anointing Jordan Love for what?
Right, exactly.
He had 6, 7 good games. I need to see more. Is that so much to ask? Like people anointing Jordan Love as this guy who's going to be an elite quarterback. We don't know. How many times have we seen a quarterback go out there, have 6, 7 good games, play his ass off, and people are like, "Oh my god, this guy is the next thing." And then he goes into next season, and he blows ass. That's just the way it goes. That's
Yeah.
the NFL, and they're gonna find out tendencies that this guy has. They're gonna find out what he looks for when he's looking going back to pass. Those are things that they're gonna look at. What did he succeed with, and what did he succeed doing? Like that's what these defensive coordinators are gonna do.
I mean, the Packers are coming. They're in a little bit of a mini like post Rodgers rebuild kind of deal, right? They kind of got lucky again with potentially their third great quarterback in a row. That's to be seen. But like I said, I'll even play devil's advocate and say, hey, I would not be surprised. I could see the Packers winning anywhere from 9, from let's say a ceiling 10 or 11 wins, a floor probably 6 or 7. They're
Right.
going to be a decent team, but to act like that roster and that team is a 13-win Super Bowl reaching like perennial contender team is absolutely a joke. Like, no way, man, no way. I'm sorry, and I've got friends, and I've got friends that are Packers fans. I got friends that do Packers media. Like I said, I will give you the benefit of the doubt and say this team could reach the playoffs again as a wild card, and they could win 10 or 11 games, maybe. But there's no way this is set up for some sort of, Packers, Jets, Rodgers, knob slobbing Super Bowl fan favorite deal. This is not going to happen, dude. It's just, I'm sorry. But they've got a way to go. I do think they have a promising young roster. I do think they have a lot of good pieces. But for the time being, at least for the next 3 seasons, at least, this is the Lions division to lose. And I think we're going to see multiple division titles. And I think we're going to see us have a really nice, sustained, future and be able to have success over these next 3 to 5 seasons.
Here's where I will say. I'll say the Packers are going to be damn good. Okay, they're going to be good. They're going to be the challenger for the Lions. I don't believe the Bears are going to be that challenger. I honestly don't have high hopes for Caleb Williams. I don't know.
People are on that guy's hang downs, bro. They love Caleb Williams, man.
Well, okay. I told you all about Hendon Hooker. I told you all about Trevor Lawrence. I told you all about a variety of quarterbacks. Now I've been wrong a lot.
Side note, can we say why the hell did the Jaguars give Trevor Lawrence that bag? That was nuts, dude.
Well, he's a decent quarterback, so they had to keep him. But it's the Jaguars. Like that, I don't get it. I don't understand it. But whatever the case may be, I look at Caleb Williams and I go, man, if you're a defensive coordinator and you're watching that USC tape, throw the Notre Dame game up, throw the Utah game up, throw when he played Oregon up, and see what they did to him to make him just look like an average quarterback. When he played these teams that played a physical style defense like Utah, like Notre Dame, like Oregon, struggled big time. When he played these teams that have no defense, like Colorado, like, oh, of course he looks good. Oh, well, they play Fresno State. Of course he looks good. But I'm telling you right now, I get the sense from Caleb Williams that when he gets in trouble, he likes to throw the ball into trouble. And I think that's a bad recipe for a quarterback that's coming out of college. Honestly, for being totally facetious right now, talking about which quarterback I think could be potentially a stud, it's JJ McCarthy. I don't know what to expect out of JJ McCarthy. I know he's got talent.
Be great or he's going to be ass. I feel like it's going to be an extreme one way or the other.
I know he's got talent, but again, throwing to Justin Jefferson is a cheat code. Okay, so having that guy is going to help you out a lot. Just like Caleb Williams having Keenan Allen and Roman Dunze, that's going to help him out a lot. DJ Moore, yeah, DJ Moore is a stud too. But I just look at this division; it's a tough division. It's going to be like the AFC North for the next couple of years. Some team's going to win this division at like 9-8 eventually. Maybe next year, maybe the year after. But I look at all these teams and they're getting better and better and better. And I look at the Vikings, even though they lost Kirk Cousins, their defense is a lot better. They got Brian Flores, who's a hell of a defensive coordinator. Jefferson's back. I know Sam Darnold's going to start, but I think JJ McCarthy will be starting by the time the Lions play them. That's what I think. But it's just interesting the way you put it.
It really is. It is interesting. And I think a lot of the teams that we were competing against, we didn't lose anybody, bro. Like, we lost peanuts, dude. We didn't lose anybody important. We lost what? Tracy Walker. We lost. I mean,
Cam Sutton,
Cam Sutton. Oh boy, it's
Jonah
like wow.
Jackson.
We lost guy, but we replaced Jonah Jackson with a top 5 guard.
Yep.
We replaced Tracy with someone on the depth chart that has been fighting for a spot in Iffy and kind of elevated our spot. And
Yep.
then we replaced our corners with 4 new ones. And so in terms of us, we didn't lose a lot, but like teams like the Niners who potentially are not going to be returning Brandon Ayuk.
Well,
And,
he'll be returning, but it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But
and other teams that maybe lost these big key pieces, like the facts that we build our culture up here enough to where guys aren't bitching and crying and leaving and forcing their way out via trade and
well,
going places for more money. Like we're building something special.
I hate to cut you off, but it's just
No, you're
like
good.
it's just like what happened just now. CD Lamb's not reporting to training camp for the Dallas Cowboys. So here's what you got. Obviously, we know that Brett Holmes has done an amazing job at paying his players, saying, "I'm going to pay you right now. We're get it figured out." But I give Brett Holmes the utmost credit that he got it done before training camp, because having these issues, they do weigh on a team.
Well, look what the Vikings just gave Darisaw, bro. Like we're looking like we got Sewell at a steal.
And we got it for 2 years more, which obviously, if you think about it, like Sewell's a younger guy, and Sewell is going to eventually play left tackle. That's what the plan is. But you look at it like Darisaw got 23.8. If you look at AAV, and I think if you look at AAV, I think Sewell was at like 23.1. So you're getting a better tackle for longer. Now, if you prorate it to 4 years, it's a lot more than Darisaw, but still,
Sure.
you're going to have him for a while. So that's what it comes down to. And that's where I just don't believe these people when they say, like, I look at this USA Today article and I'm just like, okay, you say the Packers got better with these key additions, but what about the key additions that the Lions had? Like, those are key additions. DJ Reader is a key addition. Carlton Davis, key addition. Kevin Zeitler, key addition. You add him instead of Jonah Jackson. And if we talked about it in the podcast last year, Jonah Jackson was an issue in the pass game. 25% of the pass pressure came from Jonah Jackson. Now, eventually, with Decker playing hurt, it ended up going where Decker was at like 33%, but he was playing with a broken foot, I believe, and that just doesn't matter. So you kind of expect that. But you got anything to add with this one?
Not really a whole lot, just basically that, it's going to be a different training camp this time around. We're going to be looking at sharpening up the depth and back end of this team. We're not necessarily looking for someone to shine out of training camp and be our savior, because we've got all our cornerstone pieces. We need to stay healthy, and we need to make sure that our depth is getting shored up on the back end. And we're gonna run it back, man, and try to hit get to another NFC Championship game. Hopefully, we're on the other end of this one, and we try to make our Super Bowl run. I mean,
all right, let's go through some of these
that's where we're at.
Let's go through some of these projections that Nate Davis has, because I want to get your opinion. We're going to rifle through some of these, but he has your Colts finishing first in the AFC South. I know that's your second team, which is.
I mean, that's going to be tough with the emergence of the Texans, but
Right.
It depends on if Anthony Richardson can stay healthy. I mean, that's to be determined.
What do you think he has the Texans at?
10-7.
He has the Jaguars at 10-7. He has the Texans at 9-8.
No way. There's no way.
No. He has the Eagles at 10-7.
Okay.
He has the Cowboys at 8-9.
No, hell no.
Dolphins at 8-9.
Not a chance.
Not a chance. He's got every team in the NFC North being over 500.
Does this guy just like drink a fifth of booze before he wrote this, or what?
I don't know. He has a Chargers being 9-8 too. He has
with what receiver core?
He has the Bengals 11-6, Browns 10-7, 10-7 Ravens.
Cornelius Johnson, baby, it's your time to shine.
My God, it's like I just don't. These projections are so ass. Like he got the Vikings at 5-12, which okay maybe. 9-8 for the Bears, 8-9 for the
maybe
8-9 for the Bucks, the Saints. His last place teams are just everyone knows the Giants, the Panthers, the Seahawks, the Patriots, the Titans, and the Broncos. Okay, we all agree with those ones. So
yeah.
that's where he got it right. So that's what it is. So we're gonna move on. We got one or two more segments that we're gonna get to, but yeah, it's that I just wanted to get that off my chest because I thought that was just a ridiculous.
I mean, it just sounds like, honestly, man, it just sounds like he's just throwing numbers on a dartboard, or he's just throwing shit on paper and seeing what, maybe he's trying to get a little wow factor. Maybe he's trying to get a little bit of shock value.